U.S. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi has arrived in Taiwan as part of a trip across various Asian allies of the U.S. to show America's commitment to the region. Some might consider Pelosi's presence in the island to be a little controversial, especially to Beijing. Taiwan has always been a contentious issue in regards to the relations between the US and China. Taiwan is effectively a self-governing democracy, outside of the Chinese Communist Party's sovereignty, though the People's Republic of China continues to state that Taiwan belongs to the CCP. It overall prefers nations to not recognize Taiwan as a sovereign state. Similar to Japan after the Second World War, Taiwan has developed under a democracy with close ties to the Western world. Taiwan thus has unofficial relations with the West, such as the US in this case. It's all an awkward situation when mainland China is right next door, of course. US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is second in line to the President of the US. She is a major political figure, of course. She has always been a critic of the Chinese Communist Party ruling over mainland China, and advocates for democracies such as Taiwan. Therefore, the CCP isn't exactly going to love her quote-unquote meddling in the region. The Chinese Communist Party has issued several warnings over Pelosi's presence in the island, and by the time I've made this video, tanks have begun to deploy, and it's also expected for several military drills to also go in place. But why is China so fixated on Taiwan? One crucial thing you need to understand about authoritarian regimes is that an outside threat needs to exist in order for the people to distract themselves from the regime they're living in. Things start to be a little awkward when your democratic neighbor seems like a better place to live in. There's North and South Korea, Russia and Ukraine, and of course China and Taiwan. Authoritarian regimes need to exert the utmost control over their population and pretty much prevent it from swaying towards democracies that show how better life could be under a different regime. So I don't consider the CCP will take it kindly with Pelosi stirring up democratic ideals in the region. Also, one could argue that Pelosi is actually right in standing up for Taiwan, and that one must not make concessions to authoritarian regimes as a way of diminishing their soft power. On the other hand, one could also say that while good-intentioned, it may not be preferable given the delicate situation of the region, and that one must avoid any sort of confrontation that may escalate. I'll let you decide that. I'm pretty sure we're all aware of the geopolitical situation between Taiwan and mainland China, so I'll spare you the long story behind it. But in a nutshell, the Republic of China once controlled this entire territory. During the Chinese Civil War, the Republic of China lost to the Chinese Communist Party. The former fled to Taiwan, effectively meaning that two Chinas were around, the People's Republic of China and the original Republic of China, which refers to Taiwan in this case. Both of these entities operated independently of each other, of course having distinct laws, passports, governments, and so on. The CCP insists that Taiwan is a rebellious region that belongs within the People's Republic of China, even though technically speaking, the CCP has never controlled the island of Taiwan. Many countries chose to recognize the CCP over Taiwan as the legitimate government of China. A few nations chose to recognize the Republic of China as legitimate, but no country has actually recognized both entities as sovereign states, like the two Koreas for example. And I would say that it's pretty much due to the CCP's immense manufacturing power. Why would a country jeopardize its overseas manufacturing and imports from mainland China over Taiwan? Ever since winning the Civil War, China has always made it clear that it would reconquer Taiwan eventually. We all know that the Russian invasion of Ukraine didn't really go that well for Russia, and it would be right to assume that China has studied this event very closely. It appears that the ramifications of invading a neighboring country outweigh the pros of conquering it. I don't really think China might jeopardize its trading volume with the West in the short term. Therefore, no actual armed conflict may take place. Hopefully. Though, China will still show their strength through the means of drills and military displays. As of now, I guess only time will tell. I really do hope tensions won't further escalate, and wish for the people of Taiwan the very best. Thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you next time.